What's up guys, my name is Jacob5 and welcome back to another preview. It's Brighton versus Chelsea at the Amex on Wednesday. Let's get into this preview, but before we do so, it'd be much appreciated if you're able to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to do so and it really helps me out in terms of the channel. And don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. All my socials are all linked down below so you can keep up to date with everything going on also with the channel. Brighton versus Chelsea then. Chelsea travel to the Amex then on the Wednesday night. Looking forward to this one. And this could be a big step in our defence, well, just in going to terms of getting Europe, to be honest. It'll be really, really good if we can do so. We're really kind of knocking on the door now to Newcastle, that is for sure. Newcastle United go away to Old Trafford the same day as we go to Amex, so it's going to be very kind of difficult to say what is going to happen, but we're hoping to get all 3 points. If we were to do so, that'd be 4 in a row for the Blues, so it'd be really good if we can do so. Brighton are hit with a load of injuries. We've normally had a good record about the kind of getting towards the wins and everything else, but let's get straight into this preview then. The last 5 against Brighton hasn't been too bad for us then. 3-1, 0 drawn and 2 losses. So no draws in the actual fixture itself, only wins or losses. We haven't done too bad against Brighton in previous years. They're a good side, don't get me wrong, but they've coming with a lot of injuries as we currently speak, but we'll get into that a little bit further. They've only won in the actual head-to-head itself. I didn't actually realise how little we've actually played Brighton during our history. Only won 14, drawn 5 and lost 3 then, so it's not been that many times we've actually faced each other in all honesty. Brighton haven't really got much to play for. They're currently 10th, and if they win, they don't really go any further in all honesty. I think they're still going to be below West Ham with a win, so it's not really much to gain for Brighton, and more than pride, more in the case where they don't want to get battered themselves, but they're a good side, Brighton. Robert De Zerbi has done very well at them this year, and they've been unlucky with the injuries that they have got. I'll get into that a little bit further as I mentioned, but this is a big time for Chelsea to put themselves on the map and be able to get the result, because if Newcastle are going to drop points, I feel like it is against Man United. Even though they've been in bad form, I'd like to think they'd be able to kind of see if they can get a consistent few games before the FA Cup final against Manchester City, and it'd be really nice if they could do us a favour and at least maybe even if they get a point, we go ahead. So fingers crossed we're able to do something and they're able to kind of drop points at the same time, but time will tell in that aspect. But we need to do our job. We just need to focus on our own kind of things and hope the others kind of mess up around us. That's the best way to look at it, in all honesty. I think if we're always relying on other results, then we're always going to have that kind of mistake in us. We come back against Nottingham Forest, a brilliant comeback at the end of the day. We're seeing so much fight in the team, and it's definitely something that is working in our favour. That is for sure. Brighton haven't won in 6 games. Last win was against Forest in March there, 1-0. And as you can see, they're just not doing well whatsoever. 1-1 against Newcastle, 3-0 against Bournemouth loss, 4-0 loss against Man City, 1-0 against Burnley, 3-0 loss against Arsenal, and 0-0 against Brentford. Yeah, nothing's really working in their favour for Robert De Zerbi. They've had a very poor end to the season, to be honest. Not exactly ideal from their point of perspective, and that's probably why they haven't really got much to play for. They've had a big season, and I feel like with the Thursday nights that they've played in as well, it's kind of hindered their improvement, that is for sure. But yeah, not the best of last 6 for Brighton. As I said, the last win coming against Nottingham Forest in March. That's a long time, to be honest. We are in May now, mid-May this is at the end of the day, so they have had a very poor end to the season, that is for sure. But let's get into the further to this preview. Looking at the injury list for Chelsea, this is probably the smallest it's ever been for us. I'm able to actually fit this on one slide. Can you believe it? Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia, Wesley Fofana and Robert Sanchez are all out for the Blues then. Not really much to worry about in terms of our perspective, because we have so much quality back in the squad now. Thank God. It's been so long to be able to say that we can actually have a fully fit squad that can compete at the end of the day. And we've been struggling so much with injuries this season. We are the worst hit team in terms of injuries. We've been so unlucky, but only 4 players out. I don't feel like it's going to hinder anything in terms of our performance that we need to have on the pitch, that is for sure. In terms of Brighton's injuries, they've been hit massively, and they've got some key players out for tomorrow. João Pedro, James Miller, Matoma, Solly March, Hinzelwood, Evan Ferguson, Van Heck and Estupiñán are all out for the Seagulls. They're not ideal for their perspective whatsoever. They're not really going to be fielding the strongest of sides against the Blues, that is for sure. And they've definitely been hit with many injuries this season, as mentioned, and I feel like that's why it's kind of hindered their progress at the same time. Also, Robert De Zerbi hasn't had the kind of best of picks. Obviously, they don't have the biggest of transfer budget, so even though where we've had the injuries, we've still had players to rely on. They don't have that at the end of the day. They really don't have that whatsoever. I'm pretty sure Billy Gilmore is out at the moment also, if I might be stand corrected on that particular one, but it's nice to see him in not blue and white tomorrow. That is for sure. He's a big talent, and I'm sad to see him go when he did leave Chelsea. That is for sure. So only the 4 injuries for tomorrow. Reece James obviously came back against Nottingham Forest. He's looking to be able to see if he can get more minutes for the club. Sterling looks fit. Gusto looks fit. Colwell's yet to start a game after coming back from injury, but he's been on the bench a few times. We might see him feature, you just don't know. But let's get into my predicted lineup. This is my predicted lineup. I've gone for a slight change compared to a normal. We've still gone for the 4-2-3-1 formation. I feel like Poch has really found his formation. He's chopped and changed a lot this year, in all honesty, and this is definitely something that's well suited him in the previous games that he's played in, that is for sure. I've gone with Petrovic in goal, Cucurella, Chalobah, Silva, Gusto as your back four, Gallagher and Caicedo in the middle with Mudryk, Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling replacing Noni Madueke, and Nicholas Jackson up top there, as you can see. It's a bit of a different change, don't get me wrong, but this is going to be the explanation to why I've made these changes. Benoit Badiashile played in the centre-back role and compared to not being Chalobah as he made to the right-hand side, and it just didn't work. I just don't feel confident with Benoit Badiashile. He made a big mistake for the first goal. He nearly messed up right at the start also. He's been so shaky all season, honestly. I'm still not really sold on his efforts, that is for sure. Axel Disasi, once again, I've not really been sold on his efforts. He had a really good solid start to the season, and kind of midway through he was really good, but he's kind of dropped off from there, and I feel like Trevor Chalobah's really proved his worth as a Chelsea player. We'd be ridiculous to sell him, so that's why I've stuck him next to Thiago Silva. He can learn from the best, and he's definitely being the best at the same time. Also, Cucurella has been flawless on the left-hand side, and he's gone into that inverted centre-mid role that's worked at the same time. Didn't really work too much against Forest, but I still feel like it can work in the same aspects, that is for sure. So I'll stick him at left-back. Malo Gusto is fit. I'm not too sure if he will start. It'd be nice to see him on the right-hand side. Obviously, it's between the two of Reece James and Malo Gusto. Gusto is less of a threat in terms of being able to kind of play him. He's obviously, you don't feel like he's going to get injured as much if James were to start the game, because I just don't think he's got the minutes in him yet. So it'd be nice to see Malo Gusto start a game. He's been on the bench a few more times than Reece James as of late, and I feel like he is the fitter man as of the moment, and it really would be good to see on that right hand side, because he's so creative. He bursts on that right hand side. He'd be so good being able to get past Brighton's midfield and defence, and I feel like he'd be perfect in that right hand side role. Gallagher and Caicedo in the middle. Caicedo faces his former side once again there for the third time this season, after facing him previously in that 3-2 win at home. It's going to be tough for Caicedo. I feel like he's going to get a lot of stick from the Brighton fans, to be honest. It's adamant that he is. He would obviously like not that to be the case, but he is going to get a lot of stick. He's been superb for us at the moment in the middle, pinging the passes around. I mean, if Kevin De Bruyne were doing what he was doing at the moment, everyone would be talking about it. Because he wears a blue shirt and because he cost 100 million, no one wants to talk about it. But that man is on fire at the moment, to be honest, and himself and Gallagher is working so well in a pair. As much as Enzo Fernandez is a very good player and he's been playing as an injured player, I feel like at the end of the day, it just works so much better with Gallagher and Caicedo in that middle. We just seem so cool, calm and collected in terms of a holding midfield and going forward at the same time. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So that's my holding midfield. I've gone for the attacking three of Mudryk, Palmer and Sterling. The only change would be normally is Raheem Sterling coming in for Noni Madueke. Madueke had a poor game against Nottingham Forest, and I feel like he was just non-existent at the end of the day, to be honest. I feel like he does need a well-deserved rest because he's been playing game in, game out. So have many other players, don't get me wrong, but it feels like sometimes you need to freshen it up. Raheem Sterling getting that goal, he's got a little bit of fire in his belly at the same time now, so it'd be interesting to see what he could do on that right-hand side, that is for sure. So I'd really like to see Sterling come in, if he is fit, that is, at the end of the day. And Palmer and Mudryk linked up really well against Nottingham Forest, that's for sure. Mudryk needs to play and play and play if he wants to gain confidence, and it'd be nice to see him get on the score sheet once again there, and then you really will see some sort of player that we've bought from Shakhtar Donetsk, that is for sure. Cole Palmer, he's always in the side, don't get me wrong, he's absolutely pivotal to this side. Without him, we just seem just absolutely lost, so he's definitely in that midfield. And up top, Nicholas Jackson, he got another goal against Nottingham Forest, and he's definitely proven the haters wrong. As much as he's not so consistent in his game, don't get me wrong, he's just so good in terms of being able to get the goal when needed. I mean, it showed against Nottingham Forest. He was in the right place at the right time, and he gets the goal. And as I mentioned, since he showed that hair, he has been on form, that is for sure. 2 goals against Tottenham, 1 goal against West Ham, and also a goal against Nottingham Forest. So yeah, really, I mean, 2 goals against West Ham, sorry. So 5 goals in 3 games at the moment. So he's doing very well, I have to say. It's going to be interesting to see what he'll be like next season, if he will have a partner, that is for sure. But yeah, Nicholas Jackson, the only choice for me at the striker role. We've got so many options coming off the bench now. Obviously, we're going to have Madueke on the bench. We have Reece James on the bench. We have Colwill on the bench. We're going to have so many options that we didn't normally have. Leslie Ogachukwu is back. So it looks a bit more fresher in terms of our bench perspective, instead of having to put so many youth players on the bench, that is for sure. But that would be my lineup. I reckon that would be the best suited in terms of trying to see if we can get the result against Brighton. I feel like they're pretty much going to be backs to the wall, and they're not really going to play for what they need to, because they don't have anything to play for at the end of the day, and they're going to hit and hope. They'll sit men behind the ball, and if they can attack, they will. But De Zerbi will want to win at the same time, because he's not one of those sort of managers that will just want to lose. He's definitely got that winning mentality, and it'll be kind of, he'll just want to spoil the party for Chelsea if they can't get European football. And if he's the man that say he could do so, then yeah, he will definitely want that case, that is for sure. Here is my score prediction for the game against Brighton Hove Albion. I reckon a 2-1 win for the Chelsea then. I feel like we just there's no stopping us at the moment. It's so hard to predict, don't get me wrong, because we've gone on runs and we've been really poor, but something's a little bit different at the moment, I'd like to say. I mean, I hope anyway. Be really interesting to see how we do play, what sort of side he fields and everything, because we need this win. We need to win against Brighton. We need to win against Bournemouth, do our job, and hopefully the others don't do theirs and we can get into that top 6 role and we'll be playing European football next season. If anyone told you that, it's probably about January time, then we'd be laughing. Even the game against Arsenal, even if someone told you that, I think anyone would be laughing, to be honest. So it would be really interesting if we can get into that sort of position, because I feel like we deserve it with the performances been put in of late. And Pochettino's come under a lot of stick, and I think like we're starting to see some sort of transition and some sort of process under him, that is for sure. But I reckon 2-1 for Chelsea. I reckon they're going to be too much of Brighton, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a massively entertaining game at the same time. So going to be interesting, that is for sure. Let me know your score predictions down below in the comments, but that will be that for this particular preview. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.